preachers of life.
Yeah,
I think preaching to the people.
I got you. I don't disagree. I told you.
And this is what was really convincing. There's another place in Peter where it says those evil spirits were put under change of darkness,
Yeah.
reserved unto judgment.
Uh-huh.
So you have some people out there that have the narrative that he preached to them the proper after they saved them after they had put the change.
No, I don't think that at all.
But he said they were reserved unto
Right.
judgment.
I don't think that that's what he was doing.
And they're gonna do what he commanded them to do.
Right.
No, they're gonna always do that.
Well, he said, no, I mean, they disobedient. So
Not necessarily preaching to them, that's giving them a command. Hey,
giving the command is preaching, though, right? Is that what we doing here?
I mean, you can inform somebody about God's command, but I'm not saying, hey, I'm a preacher, so I want you to go do this and this.
We get it, but well, we don't read it, but this is what I'm trying to get you to see. I'm going back to the days of Noah, and we saying in the days of Noah, it was like 2,000 years, and now the Lord, like it repented man, and it repented him that he made man, right? And he only saved 8 people out of all these people that was on the planet. These folks was living hundreds of years, and he only saved 8 people. What I'm getting at is, he had to tell an angel something. If that's what he did in the end, in Revelation 7. Because he just like in the days of Noah. That's what he tells him in Matthew 24. So when you look at Matthew 24, it's telling you that the end and the days of Noah are going to be the same. And when you look at the days of the end, you see that the Lord got to tell the angels, hold back the wind. So he got to talk to the angels. He told them to do something, even in the end. So just like the angels that destroyed the world in the days of Noah, he had to tell them to talk, though.
So was Noah not preaching while he was building?
Oh, I'm sure he was. But I'm sure I would 100%. Matter of fact, I almost think I know where I could read you that he was preaching. Because to say something to that effect. But
call him a preacher of righteousness.
Right. But when you look at that particular passage, and we're gonna look at it in a second. Who gonna read the Bible study? You read, bro?
Yeah, I agree.
All right, so we can go ahead and open this up.
Yeah, I had a question too.
No problem. Still have your question. Mm-hmm. So like what I like to do is go all the way to the beginning of it. Meaning not the beginning of the whole book, but we're gonna go to the beginning of that chapter. We're gonna look at it from there, and then we're gonna see if we can ever come up with, we're gonna see how we come up with it. That's the way I like to do it. Makes it a little easy. So we'll look at it and see. But at the end of the day, the Rubel, that's what we're last name. Brother Zerubbabel, that's what was your last name?
No, I don't know that brother's name. He was from Cincinnati.
Zerubbabel.
That was his name?
Yeah. So I pretty much heard what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like he was like, yo, it was a good argument. But at the end of the day, I'm just gonna read it. Then we're just gonna let it say what it says. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not even gonna try to persuade you like that. I'm just gonna ask you a simple question as we read it. But because here's the thing, I'm not taking from what Noah did. So that's that. I'm not saying Noah didn't preach to nobody. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Noah didn't do that. What I'm saying is the angels need to be preached to, though, or they need to be told something. We'll look at it. We'll see. Well, then we're gonna get some of this book.
And they're eating.
Oh, sister, yeah, okay.
I'm fine. We're trying to hear it. We're trying to know it. That'll be that meaning. I know who I know it. Thy kingdom come. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. Like will be done. In earth, as it is in heaven. As it is in heaven. Give us this day. Give us this day. Our daily bread. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory. Lord, God. Jesus' name we pray. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Yeah, so anyway, let's turn to 1 Peter chapter 3. And really, we're going to start in like verse 9. We're going to run it up to the high. 1 Peter 3 and 9. We're going to build here. And again, I'm not here to persuade you. I don't rock like that. I'm here to challenge your thinking a little bit. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Put something else in your head that might add, subtract, don't really matter. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not really here to meaning the Lord changed his mind. You know what I'm saying? That's what I learned. So I'm not gonna do that. But we are gonna read it and go ahead and start at verse 9. 1 Peter chapter 3 and 9. Now living for evil, or worthy for worthy. But contrariwise, blessing. Now when ye are given to God, that ye should inherit the blessing. For he will reward life and see your days, let him refrain his tongue from evil, and his lips that they speak of God. Let him shoot evil and do good. Let him seek peace and ensue. Go ahead. For the eyes of the Lord are over the righteous, and his ears are open unto their prayers. But the face of the Lord is against them that do evil. Okay, agree. And who is he that will harm you if you be followers of that which is good? Go ahead. But and if you suffer for righteousness' sake, happy are ye, and be not afraid of their terror. You are not troubled. Go ahead. But sanctify the Lord of God in your hearts, and be ready always to give the answer to every man that asks you a reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Having a good conscience that whereas they speak evil of you as a wickedness, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse your conversation in Christ. For it is better if the will of God be so, that ye suffer the will of doom, than for evil. For Christ also had him suffered for sins. So right now, the only people that is even talking about is you or Christ. It's the only subject matter in this particular chapter. Keep going. The just for the unjust, that he will bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and tried. So he said, by which also he. So right now, that he you said is not Christ. Okay, but now, verse 18 said, for Christ also has suffered once for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God. That he is Christ, though, right? All right. Being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spiritual prison.
I already explained that in Isaiah, when it says that he's going to be a light to the Gentiles, that he did it through Paul and Barnabas. And so just like right here, I'm saying he did it through. No, that's already been explained. So I'm not, don't make it seem like I'm saying Christ didn't do it.
I was just asking.
He did it through.
Yeah, I'm just asking the question.
That's all I'm saying. So just
right. So the
show me what you guys show me, but I'm not gonna go back and forth. I mean, I'm just gonna listen.
Well, it's not about going back and forth. It's about the same conversation that I literally just had last night with another brother who said the same thing. I'm doing him the same way,
right? But
that I'm.
You're asking me to explain something that I've already.
So my question, but not to me. I didn't like. I heard he said it. No, I just heard y'all up the time. We didn't get in no book. We didn't get in no book. We just right. So when I say what
did you say Christ didn't do that?
I asked a question, meaning. For Christ also has suffered once for sin, the just for the unjust, that he
might bring us to God. So that particular he right there is Christ, correct? Okay. Being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the spirits of prison. Now you're saying here that the subject has now changed from Christ to Noah. That is a question that I'm asking.
I don't understand how you could even ask that question when you heard me say that it was prophesied that Christ was going to be a light to the Gentiles, but he did that. He was a light to the Gentiles because his whole ministry was to Israel. He taught
Who
them.
was?
Right. I'm coming to the house of Israel. Mm-hmm. But when you read Isaiah, he said, it is a small thing for me to just send you to the house of Israel. I'm also going to send you to be a light to the Gentiles. Now, how did he do that?
He did it through.
First, he did it through Peter.
Right.
And then he did it through Paul and Barnabas.
Okay.
So that is something that I've already explained. That's very simple. And so don't say, well,
I'm in Peter though.
He did it, but he did it through.
But right now, that's all. I ain't nowhere else but right here. But you said when I asked,
this is not Christ.
I'm asking a question for you to say yay or nay to. If you say, well, no, I'm not saying that.
I said, I'm not saying that. That's not Christ.
Okay. That's it. All the other stuff is what?
I think it's condescending though, because we've already covered the fact that he didn't do it directly. He did it
condescending as
well. Like, you're trying to say that Christ didn't do this?
I'm simply asking so that we can get somewhere with this. You don't really know me like that to think that I'm being condescending. That's why I explained to you, this is the exact same way I did it last night, where the brother understood by the time we were done. Whether you said yay or nay, I was going to build from there. That's all. Like, don't assume with me. Like, it ain't even like that. I'm just, like I told you before, I ain't trying to convince you to change your mind. I just heard you talking about it just now.
Right.
And I'm like, oh,
heard me, and you heard everything I said, right?
I heard you, but we didn't get into no book. So none of that, what you said doesn't matter if we're not getting into the scriptures.
You asked me what I said.
So I asked.
What I said. Did you say, right? I didn't say that.
So let me get back to the book. Verse 17, it says, for better if the will of God be so, that you suffer for well doing than for evil doing. But Christ also has suffered for sins, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit, by which also he went and preached unto the prisoners the spirits in prison. Now, the reason I asked who was the he is so that we can keep it on Christ. That's the first thing I wanted to do. So you agree that he is still referring to Christ? Yes. That was a simple question. You did what I'm saying? If you would have said no, then my next question would have been like, how do we get Noah here? That's what I would have been like, if that's what you would have said. So it wasn't a question to condescend you. It was a question to find out what do you think about it thus far. Okay. So then he says, so he used the Spirit by which he went and preached unto the spirits of prison, which were sometimes disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was prepared, wherein few, that is 8 souls, were saved by water. All right. Now, let's go to Matthew 24. This is how me and my wife covered it last night. I dealt with it twice last night. And I ain't condescending nobody. We just get in the book. You know what I'm saying? We get in the book, we chop it up. I listen to you, you listen to me. I actually heard what you were saying, but we didn't get into no scriptures. You know what I'm saying? That's why I was like, let me give you something else to put on your mind. Now, we do know that he went and preached to, we use the he as in the subject that we saw there. Said he, that he went and preached in the days of Noah, though, right? Okay. Now, go to Matthew 24. The reason we going here is the parallel Noah to the end time. So we see that they function the same. Okay, we'll see what we're talking about here. Except the only difference is one, he destroyed the world by water. The next time he said he's going to destroy the world by fire. Okay, so he said, starting in Matthew 24, start at verse 30 or 29, start at 29, and run it down to like 38 or yeah.
Immediately after tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken. And then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And there shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the cloud of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of the trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. Can read. Now learn the parable of the fig tree. When his branches yet tender and put forth leaves, ye know that summer is nigh. So likewise ye, when ye shall see all these things, know that it is near, even every person. Then I say unto you, this generation shall not perish till all these things be complete. Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away.
All right, go ahead, next two verses. So we here at the end, this is really what we're looking at. Go ahead.
But a great day and I will no way. No, not the animals in heaven, but my Father, my Father.
So another thing that we learn right here is that, and we know it's the new one, in new one, my thing. They don't all know what God doing. There's the man that he didn't give instructions to. Would you agree with that? Okay.
But as the days of Noah, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
And the reason I asked, would you agree with that? Just so you know, is because I don't know what you know. So I have to ask to make sure that as I continue, that we on the same page. That's all. That's the reason I asked that. So he said here, but as the day and hour will no man, not even the angels of heaven, but the Father. But as the day of Noah, now when he gets into the day of the Lord, he's gonna say they was eating and drinking and matter of fact, go ahead and keep reading.
Whereas in the days that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and marriage, until the days of Noah and into all. And then not until the flood came and took them all away. So shall also the coming of the Son of Man be.
Right. So nobody really knew what was about to happen as far as people, even while Noah is out there preaching to them. That's what they like. Hey, you know. So that day just came on them like whatever in the days of Noah. No. Let's go to Revelation 7. Revelation 7. And put in verse 1.
And after these things I saw four angels.
I'm going to the same time period that was in Matthew 24, which we saw a parallel to the days of Noah, which is where we started. We started in the days of Noah. You know what I mean? Because we started with Eve preaching to the spirits that was in prison. You know what I mean? Well, go ahead, Revelation 7.
Standing on the four corners of the earth, holding the four winds of the earth, the wind should not blow on the earth, nor on the sea, nor on the tree.
Now, these come after the 6 seals that he's telling them. So you still got trumpets with vials of wrath that come, that these angels is about to do on the earth. Okay, go ahead, keep reading.
And I saw a river ascending from the east, having the seal of the living God, and he cried with a loud voice to the four angels to whom it was given to hold the earth and the sea, saying, hold not the earth, neither the sea.
So right now, this is really the message being presented to the angels. Telling the angels the instructions, the command, the message, all of it is being presented to the angels, telling the angels, don't hurt this until I seal the servants of God in their forehead. Don't do nothing that you're about to do. I'm about to let you loose for whole time until I seal the servants of God on my forehead and in their forehead. Now, before we keep reading, because we know that's what gets said the rest, can we definitively say that Noah was sealed in his forehead? Like when we say he was sealed, Noah, going all the way back there, we say definitively that he was sealed. In same comparison to Israel here. Okay. We can also say that the angels that left their first estate are under chains of darkness, correct? So that will make them prisoners too, there, right? If you change your prisoner. So then we can't rule out, because we're not ruling out that Lord. I was betting $5 that Lord will appreciate everybody he sees. But at the end of the day, we can't rule out that that the Lord who's been here since the Garden of Eden is preaching to the angels too. We can't rule that out. Now, somebody say, because this was asked me last night, why would the Lord be preaching to the angels? They already made their choice. Number one, obviously, they have a choice to make. We see that in Revelation chapter 12. Let's go there real quick, just a minute. And Satan chose to sin. It says that in Ezekiel, it says that Satan was perfect in all his ways till iniquity was found in him. So number one, we must have a choice. Number two, it says that Eve, spirit that was in prison, it said that they were oftentimes disobedient, or something to that effect, or at a time. Not often. It says sometimes disobedient, meaning at a time. Not like sometimes they're obedient, sometimes they're not. No, sometimes, no S at the end, means at a time. So at a time they were disobedient. Now, we're going back here to Revelation 12, and verse 7 through 9.
And then the Lord, Michael and his angels fought against the Jordan, and the Jordan fought and his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found in the Lord, and the great dragon was cast down, their own Savior, called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world. Yeah. He was cast out into the earth. Yeah. His angels were cast out with him. Yeah. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ, for the accuser of our brethren is cast down.
So one of the things we see here about Satan is like, these the angels talking. They're like accusers of our brother. Like he operated like these people got choices up there. So that means and then we see that a third of the angels went with evil. So obviously they had a choice. Then we go to Ezekiel where it said, like I said, it's perfect in all ways to iniquity. So with all that being said, going back to the idea, I'm using Revelation 7 as my reference point. So the Lord going to preach to spirits in prison, because ideally that's exactly what that was. And he told them, hold back the 4 legs. He's preaching, instructing, commanding angels to wait until we seal a certain amount of people. In this case, it was 144,000 from the destruction. In the days of Noah, it just was 8 people. Wait, don't destroy this place. Nah. My wife said, well, what is it that he got to preach to them? How about we're not going to do this again? How about I send you down to the earth? I'm going to, he giving them a whole set of instructions, because these angels will still be here on the earth. But to just definitively say that Noah did it is taken away from the possibility that, well, what is the Lord doing? See, I don't disagree that Noah was a preacher of righteousness and that he preached to the people that was there. What I'm trying to get you to see, though, is but the Lord can go tell the angels the instructions too. Just like we saw in Revelation 7. You follow what I'm getting at now? That's it. Like it wasn't the Isaiah 42. I gave that scripture, not to you, but I'm saying I presented that scripture this is how it came to me. I got a very Elijah called me. He was like, Ruth got banged up down there. He was like, I had never heard it this way before. And he presented your argument, Elijah did, on the phone. I said, I had. The other Elijah, that's how he break it down. It's another dude that we both know named Elijah Moses. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, that's how he break it down. I know exactly. So what I'm getting at is I know exactly how you see it. And the same thing I tell Elijah Moses. Let us not rule out, though, by me saying that the Lord went and preached to angels that was Preach? What do you mean preach? He gave them instruction. While me saying the Lord gave the angel that was here, that's in prison, he gave them instructions on what not to do next. I can make plenty sense of that. Just like, for example, how wicked the world was. Let's go back to Genesis 6 real quick. This got to be because Satan is the cause of the wickedness behind people. You know what I'm saying? It's like Ephesians 6, he say, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. That's an absolute. So when Cain did his wickedness, Satan was in his head, was behind him. Or like it says in Psalms when he said, put Satan at his right hand. Go ahead.
Is Satan the cause behind the wickedness in people?
Yes. Yes. You don't see that? All right. So
I read in First John, it said that Cain was a son of Satan because he did the works of Satan. And I can also read in, I think it's in James, where it says, sin, it comes by our lust that is within us. And when we act upon that lust, that's where it says, I think it says sin is, it used like a creation word. Sin is conceived, and then it is committed at that point. But it comes from within. Satan lays out the opportunity, but he is not the cause.
So those are the things you can see. That's how we do. You can see the angle I'm coming from. That might help it better. Because it's just like the Antichrist. He's gonna be free will, and he's gonna be operating with the spirit of Satan. Meaning it's not a spirit of God. So like your conscience or the Holy Ghost dealing with your conscience. He's like, bro, don't do that. That's wicked. That's the spirit of God in your mind. On the flip though, like if we gonna say, well, we gonna go like when we was in our younger days, use that. We gonna go over here and mess with these girls. You know what I'm saying? Commit fornication. The stuff that we hear in our mind, that comes from Satan. But we're gonna prove that a little bit though. Ephesians 6 and 10.
Like, I'm focusing on the word when you said cause.
Right. Well, what I was so that you could. That's why I said we're gonna read this. When I say the cause, I'm saying you don't get to this level of sin prior to knowing it if Satan ain't behind the scene. That's all I'm really getting at. That's why I say the cause. But I'm just gonna read it here, and then that way you can follow what I'm getting at. And then what I'm saying is, even in our day, like in our day, like if there is no Satan, we don't have this sin. We don't have the wickedness that exists today. You follow what I'm getting at now? So that's the same thing in Noah's day. That's all I'm getting at. Is that in both days you got high level of sin because of Satan. If you eliminate Satan, that's why when we get into the kingdom of God, Jesus, He's gonna put Satan in the bottomless pit for 1,000 years. If we eliminate Satan and his angels, of course, then sin will start to diminish. We're not going to say it's going to go away because, like you just said, or like Romans 7 said, it's the sin that's in us that's causing us to commit it. So sin is in you. If like you just said, I'm agreeing 100% that once I'm enticed, then I'm going to go fulfill my lust, and then it's me sinning. Satan ain't making me do nothing.
At that point, sin is conceived.
Sin is conceived, right. Now, on the flip side, though, where did the sin come from to start with? Probably want to get that though. Like I didn't create it. No. I didn't create my thought process. You see what I'm saying? Like I was a baby. When I was a baby, I wasn't thinking about committing fornication. You get what I'm saying now? I'm saying that spirit, it ain't but two spirits, good spirits or evil spirits. That spirit was planted in me at some point, whether it was by my mama, whether it was by my daddy, my uncles, whatever it was. They telling me to sow my oath. You know what I'm saying? That spirit comes from Satan. Go ahead.
So
Then I'm going to you.
Paul used the example. He said, I'm jealous over you with the godly jealousy, that you be not beguiled as Eve was beguiled by Satan. And so I see what you're saying. The thought is planted, the opportunity is put there. But I can read in James where he said, when you are given over to your own lust, and you looking at something that you should not have, or something that don't belong to you, or something that you shouldn't do that's contrary to the commandments. Then when you act upon that lust, that's when the sin is conceived.
Okay.
It's like if my son do something, if he say, well, so and so brought it up to me, I'm not going to punish him because he listened to so and so. I'm gonna get after him because he followed his own lust and did what he did, knowing that that was wrong.
Absolutely.
And so I think it's a cause and effect type of situation because causation.
Which was first though, sin or Satan?
Satan.
Okay.
Because Satan was.
Okay, it's amazing. Well, when I say which was first, because you said it's a cause and effect, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying which one is first though? Satan, because it says Satan deceived the whole world. So I'm just coming from the standpoint that it's these evil angels, including Satan, that's behind the evil that takes place. I'm gonna prove it though. I'm just chopping it up with you. I'm gonna let him make his statement, and then I'm gonna get into the book to prove it, because I got about 2 or 3 places where I can prove that. But the whole point in trying to show you that is just to show. So in the day, because the question now comes, what does Jesus have to say to evil angels in Noah's day? Like, didn't he already tell them? Well, what we got to understand is, and this is the point of why we're going through this, is he tells them what to do whenever he wants to tell them what to do. And so in the days of Noah, I can definitely see him saying, man living this long, we're going to short their day. Who's responsible for that? Angels. Then I could also see him saying, okay, we're not going to destroy the world like this, but y'all ain't going to run rapid, like how y'all just ran rapid for these last 2,000 years. You can't do that again. Because we done lived 4,000 years since the flood now. So the flood was 2,000 years, and look how evil we got, to the point where he wanted to destroy us. Then he made a vow and said, I'm not going to destroy y'all no more until basically I destroy it with fire. So what's going to stop these angels from being who they are, that's going to stop us from being who we are? Meaning, the angels are in our head. I'm going to read it. That's what we're going to do. So let's do some more reading. We're going to start here, Ephesians 6 and 10. That's where we're going to go. Then we're going to go over here to this Psalm real quick. And then we can go to Thessalonians. My bad. I think I called through. Yeah.
One, I want to address the whole call thing that the brother Johnny had mentioned. Call. But I don't think that it's necessarily in terms of man. Satan, more than his angels that follow him, are not causing man to sin. We got to remember, we're creation. If we go to Genesis 8 and we read verse 21, the Lord lays it out clear right here. Genesis 8:21.
Okay, hold on. Let's get back to this, and then we'll get there. We're going to Genesis, but now all you're doing right now though, is just wait a second. We'll get there. We'll get there because at the end of the day, you just said Satan ain't the cause of sin.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, but that's what I just heard. Right, but that's what I'm saying. So wait, just because because that's what we're deliberating about right now. And so, right, that's why I'm like, okay, hold on, because now, because what's going to end up happening is now I'm gonna have to prove from over here and over here. So that's why I'm like, well, hold on, just give us a second, and then you'll be able to add your scriptures. Just give us a second, because we want to. Because I'm trying to establish what I meant by saying that statement.
Okay.
Not so much because again, nobody. Satan, like we said, devil don't make you do it.
Right.
When he's the deceiver. So that means, but we're gonna see that he's playing in your head. What verse are you at? Did you were?
We're in Ephesians 6.
All right, go ahead. Keep reading that Ephesians.
Ephesians what?
6, and we started at 10.
Okay.
Found in my belly, be strong in the Lord, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil.
All right, now watch what he's gonna say next. Go ahead. If he said that you might be able to stand against the wiles of Satan. Go ahead.
For we wrestle not against flesh and blood.
So this is the angle that I'm talking about when I say that it's not man. Like he said, we don't wrestle against. It's kind of like your enemy ain't man, it's Satan. Like we ain't wrestling against flesh and blood. We wrestling against Satan. And Satan, we gonna prove it some more though. Satan be behind people. We gonna prove, don't worry, we gonna prove it. Go ahead, keep reading.
But against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places.
Right, so this is who we deal with on a daily basis though. Because he said we wrestle not against flesh and blood. I mean, but we are wrestling against flesh and blood. But he's trying to show you that, now, here's a better way we can do it. Let's go to Psalm 109. Psalm 109. Psalm 109. And you start at verse 1.
Only not thy peace, O God, of my benefit. For the mouth of the wicked and the mouth of the deceitful are open against me. They have spoken against me, but they do not tell me. They compare me about also with words of hatred, and fought against me without a cause.
He read.
For my word, they are my adversaries, but I have given myself into prayer, and they have rewarded me evil for good, and hatred for my word. Set down a wicked man and hurt him, and they say, stone and with their name.
So notice what he said, and this is all I was trying to say, is that he said, read that verse one more time.
Set down a wicked man and hurt him, and they say, stone and with their name.
Right, so when he telling Satan to stand at somebody right here, he's saying Satan is in his ear, like in his ear. You know, as opposed to, like how it says, the angels of God that campeth around the godly. Well, when you wicked, you got evil angels around you. So that's where I'm coming from. Let's go to Thessalonians. Then we'll go to one more. Go ahead.
Can we read Romans chapter 9, just a few verses in chapter 9?
Yeah, we sure can. Let's read. We're going for the Gentile. Okay. We're going to go to Thessalonians.
Because I just want to show how on Judgment Day, the Bible says that God is going to bring your thought and your conscience is going to stand to either accuse or excuse all your decisions that you made. And so, yeah, you may have the adversary there influencing your thoughts or putting thoughts into your head, but that's the definition of reprobate when you open up yourself, when you continually deny the truth, and it says like your conscience is steered with a hot iron. Now you no longer, the conscience is the law in your mind. And if you don't have that, then of course you're going to be subject to those evil influences that are at your right hand. But
That's what I was trying to
that is
say.
the result of you disobeying the truth continually to the point where the Lord, it says in Romans 1, he gave them over to a reprobate mind to do those things that are not convenient. And so it's a process. Everybody is presented with those evil thoughts, but everybody's not subject to them if they have. That's why he in Romans 7, he said, I no longer serve the law of sin that's in my members. Thank God I also have the law of God that's in my mind. And then when you get to chapter 8, he says there is no condemnation for them that are serve the law of God and no longer serve the law of sin. So yeah, the influence is there, but we don't have to listen to those influences. That's why Paul said, don't be beguiled like Eve was beguiled. That's all I want to show.
I was going to say, what I was trying to say and prove the point is that Satan is the cause of the sin that's here. He is from Adam and Eve all the way down until we get to the end. He's the cause.
And let me tell you, I'm going to prove your point. When Jesus,
You should let me finish before you, because it's a man that like answers the matter before.
I just want to show you that I'm not being combative, but I'm just saying there is.
I don't think you read about it. You're just not listening. Like, because I haven't really got to say anything yet. So I want to go back to the good.
I've had to work my way in to say something because I haven't had an opportunity to say much. But I'll listen, like you said.
Well,
I'll listen.
Because
I'll let you talk.
so when he says, when I say the cause, Satan is the cause, I'm saying he exists. He's out here. You want to go ahead?
His brother had something to say. Well, we listen to you. You got the mic, so you go ahead.
Shouldn't we be listening to me right now?
A conversation is
But all due respect to what we're doing, like what we're doing at church, Bible study, shouldn't we be listening to me right now? Shouldn't I be fair enough to give you an opportunity to speak, you an opportunity to speak? That should be my job, right? Okay. So now I'm patient enough to let you speak. You know what I'm saying? But the reason I stopped telling, only not because I disagree, I didn't even give him an opportunity to really get to where he's going, because I didn't want to open up another can of worms before I tried to get to where I'm going. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure that it's okay that I can be the authority right. You know what I mean? Okay, no problem. And it's not for a negative, but I want, like I said, I want to hear you out. Trust me, I do. But you gotta like at least look. So Satan is he is the deceiver, and you know he's the deceiver, like you said. He the one that deceived Eve. That is what I mean by he is behind the sin. Now, you ready that? Hold on. Thessalonians, which one? You remember Second Thessalonians chapter 2. All this just to be for one simple point, which the point don't make sense once we done, because I don't think you would have disagreed with the point anyway. I just think you disagree with how I made the statement that I made, not realizing that all I'm simply saying is, if we eliminate Satan, we are eliminating a whole bunch of sin. But I'll be the first one to tell you, it's still sin in people. Because when the Lord comes out, we're going to eliminate Satan. And we still going to have you purging rebels in the wilderness. And it says that a sinner is going to be a curse at 100 years old. So I ain't saying the devil make him do nothing. That's why I was like, but that's why I'm saying, let me do it. You know what I'm saying? Like I think I have a fair enough understanding that if there is nothing, you have said nothing to me scripturally yet that I wasn't familiar with, and or this even like I agree with everything that the book has said. So I'm like, just follow me, because remember I said I'm just trying to put something else in your mind. Is it not fair to say, not that, because I agree, Noah preached, he was a preacher of righteousness. I'm going back to the other argument. Is it not fair to say that Jesus could have did this, but I'm basing this off of in the days of Noah? What happens in the days of Noah? So I took you to Revelation 7 to show you the end time and the days of Noah are parallel. And when you go to Revelation chapter 7, it's showing you God talking to the angels, telling them, chill, let me seal my servants. Same thing that happens in the days of Noah. Chill, let me seal these 8 souls before we destroy them. Now, what I was getting at though, because I was saying, well, we're talking about preaching to angels, what do you got to tell them? I'm like, yo, it's a lot you can tell them. They're the cause of the evil. That's what I'm getting at. Now, let's put that some more. So, 2 Thessalonians, let me read 8 and 10. 8, 9, and 10. Let's read that. And then shall the wicked be, all right, chapter 2. I'm sorry. Second Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 8, 9, and 10. When you get there, go ahead. And then shall the wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even women, whose coming is after the working of Satan, with all power and signs and lying wonders. So we know this talking about the Antichrist. And when you look at the Antichrist, he operating with the power of Satan. You have the spirit of Satan. There's only 2 spirits you can have, the spirit of God or the spirit of Satan. So when we look at Psalms 104, we got 104, or 109. We look at Psalms 109, it says, let Satan be at his right hand. So the only thing I'm trying to say is that in the days of Noah, that sin rate was so high. Let's go back to Genesis 6. Then after that, I can read Genesis 6, and I'm gonna let because we're gonna be here in Genesis. That's why Ron, I was saying hold tight, because I knew we was coming back here. But we go from Genesis 6 to 8, and then you can say what you want to say, and then we're gonna let you speak again, bro. Because I honestly, like, I just want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't. Here's the thing. Like, I have a whole community of people who don't think like me, that I communicate with often. That's why I heard what you even said before, that I communicate with often. These good brothers. These brothers don't kill. these brothers will give you your last. You understand what I'm saying? Just because I see something one way and you see something the other way, it don't make you evil or me evil. So I don't care about that. That's why I'm saying, well, let me just throw something on your plate, though. You know what I'm saying? Let's look at it from another way. That's why I'm taking this particular approach. The approach that I'm trying to show you is from can this actually happen this way? And if we say yeah, then let us not eliminate that from people. That's all. Not because again, I agree that Noah was a preacher of righteous and went out there preaching to the souls. That's the word I'm using. In prison, mental prison. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So Genesis 6. Yep. And let's pick it up at verse 6. No, 5.
And God saw that the wickedness of man was great in the earth.
And that's the other thing. God gonna destroy man for his own wickedness, not the angels. He destroyed the angels for their wickedness. He gonna destroy man for their wickedness. All I'm saying is, if we eliminate evil angels, if we eliminate the devils, then we can start walking that sin rate right on down. Because they be influencers. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go to the New Testament, he was like, what's your name? He's like, my name is Legion, but we are many. Like that person is going to sin. He can't help it. The influences around him, they got him possessed. That's what we like to call it. He's going to sin, just like some of these young boys on the block. You know what I'm saying? There is no God in their head. And there we go. You know, that's what we like to call it. You know what I'm saying? So since there's no Satan is in their head, you know what I mean? So with that being said, they're going to sin with, like you say, no comment. They're going to do that. But if we eliminate Satan, now the influence that these boys that we know that's going to do this evil may not now exist to the next person because ain't no devil to play in your head, play on your lust, play on your, to try to get you to be enticed by that. So we'll get there. Genesis 6, and it was the Lord that he had made man on the earth and agreed to him at his heart. And the Lord said, I will restore man whom I have created from the face of the earth, both man and beast and creeping things and fowls of the air. For it repented me that I have made man. So all I'm getting at is in the days of Noah, he like, bro, I wish I would have never made man. Yet man still, that's only 2,000 years of existence though. Yet man still got 4,000 years to be, really 5,000 years left to be. So I would think that there is going to be a message that I need to tell you, chill. Y'all ain't gonna rock out like y'all been, like after we destroy the world. Y'all can't, like, don't let me send Michael down here and keep everything in order. You know what I'm saying? It's a whole lot of message that can be given to them. You know what I'm saying? During the days of Noah before we start all over again. Now, the only thing I'm gonna say is, when you agree with that, though? You guys, when I say you ain't gonna answer, I just say, I take that as a, let me think about that. No?
I mean, I just don't want to, somebody else may have something else to say, and I don't want to take up too much of the people's time.
It's okay, it's our time.
And like I say, this brother has something he
He
wants.
gonna get it in too.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't want this whole thing to be.
It's okay though. What else we gonna talk about? We yeah, we good. We good. When I say we good, like let's not do that. Let's not deflect to something else. We can deal with it. It's okay. When I say it's okay even if you disagree.
There's no reason to, like I say, you believe that the spirits in prison were the angels. I believe that the spirits in prison were the people in Noah day who Noah was preaching to, like you say, that were prison, because the Bible does talk about being in a prison of a life of sin. And so that's the prison that they were in. And I think they were redeemable at that time, whereas the Bible says that those angels who were in chains of darkness were reserved unto judgment. Now, I don't agree that giving somebody a command is the same as preaching. You know, I mean, that's semantic. That's kind of semantic because I can tell my son, hey, I want you to clean up the room, clean up the room, clean up the room. And I can say, hey, I've been preaching to you all the time to clean up your room. That's just word.
You do realize that our parents have done that, right?
Okay. That's word. Hey, you can play on those words, but when you saying he preached unto the spirits in prison, you know, like you say, you cannot exclude that it was the angel, but you can, I can make that same argument and say you can't exclude that it was the people who was trapped in the spirit of their mind in a life of sin. And no one was preaching to. That's all I'm saying.
The only thing I can say,
People have biblical passage of scriptures to back up our point, but I don't want to waste too much time, trying to make my point or you trying to make your point when it's really pointless. Because that's what you see, that's what God has showed.
but it's not pointless, bro. See,
There's no definitive answer.
nah, I'm on something else. What I said is not pointless. No, when I said it's not pointless, here's what it is. It's about 30 to 40 minutes, maybe an hour for the Sabbath is over. And we build it. The word of God is not void. It's always everybody that's listening.
That was just here, if we wanted to harp on this one point, I would. But other people have questions too.
But guess what though? Once again though, I'm saying it's okay. It doesn't, if you realize, I'm going to the point, if somebody really got another question, you can ask them when we're done. We're going to answer if it's about answering a question. Right? Like, this is more than about answering a question. This is how do we get in the book? This is how do we engage with one another? This is all of that. It ain't just about getting to the answer.
So one of the last things you asked me was, brother, do you agree?
Yes.
And my answer was, I didn't respond.
Right.
Because I don't agree.
Okay.
The spirits in prison were the angels. So that's kind of like a stopping point. Right?
You say you don't agree that the spirits in prison are angels? You saying you lost it right there.
In the context of what Peter, the 3rd chapter, where we say Christ preached to the spirits in prison. And I'm basing that on the fact that I can read in Isaiah where the Bible says that Christ is going to be a light to the Gentiles. That was Christ's specific mission that the Father gave him. He said, it's a small thing for me to send you just to the house of Israel. I'm also going to send you to be a light to the Gentiles.
Yes.
That was Jesus Christ's mission that the Father gave him. But when I look how
we saw a man fulfill the mission.
I saw that Paul and Barnabas, when you started it off, Paul and Barnabas fulfilled it.
Right.
And so when you cross-reference that, how that was done, and then I say, okay, well, he preached to the spirits in prison. When it says he did it, I'm not saying he went and preached to angels that were reserved unto chain of darkness, unto judgment.
But those are spirits in prison though, right? Okay.
I'm just saying, when I pray for understanding on that, the Lord showed me that the spirit is in many forms.
Absolutely.
Not just a bodily form, but also our word. And he said, the words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. Also, I can read in the Bible where it says the spirit of our mind. And so he's preaching to the people is what the understanding that the Lord gave me that were in, it says, while in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing. If he was preaching to those angels, I know you're saying that he gave them the commandment to destroy the earth with water. Because I
didn't really say that actually. I didn't get into the detail too much. I just threw things out there because I can't hear what I said in my conversation to a brother during the week of this conversation. I don't really know what the heck he told. I know one thing: 8 souls were saved after the end of the day, and he ain't destroying the world again like that until afterward. Meaning it ain't gonna be 2,000 more years later. So basically, he could have told them all kind of stuff. I really don't know. I just speculate based off of what is because it's not enough information. It's just like how you saying, "Oh, well, it was Noah." I'm like, "Yeah, you added that." You know what I'm saying? I'm like, it's not enough information. We're taking from that passage if we say that. But then you like, well, we can go to this scripture over here. I'm like, we can keep going scripture for scripture. Go ahead.
When the Lord told the apostles to go and to baptize in the name of the Father, the name of the Son, and the name of the Holy Ghost, what did they actually do?
They baptized in Jesus' name.
And so we say what he told them, and we see what happened. I'm using that same concept when I see what was prophesied in Isaiah and how that mission was carried out.
You taking that what happened in Isaiah, which we really didn't go address. But you said what happened in Isaiah when he said you're gonna be a light to the Gentile.
And they
you said right, but you're saying that because the apostles were Jesus being that light to the Gentile, right?
That's what they said.
That means that when we read Peter, that Noah is the one that preached to the soul and spirit, because
You keep, like, if you follow what I'm saying, I'm like, you're telling me because one thing happened that it gotta be this way. And all I'm simply trying to tell you is, yeah, but guess what though? If we really look at it from a different perspective, it could be this too. So if it could be this too, then we can't rule out. We can't rule out one if we could put both of them in there. Don't rule none of them out.
So if I cannot say that the spirits in prison were not angels, definitively, how can you say that Noah didn't preach to the people?
I said
That
it.
Jesus, that, I know, but I'm saying, no, neither one of us can say definitively which one it actually is happening.
I would
So that's
agree.
why I say, let's move on, because that we'll be here all night.
I would agree that
That's, I'm not saying it's pointless. I'm not, even though I use that word, but I'm saying the outcome is still gonna be, you're gonna leave here thinking that it was the spirits in prison were the angels. I'm gonna leave here thinking that the spirits in prison were the people who were in prison in their minds.
How about we never embark this conversation for you and I? How about I know at the beginning of the conversation that you're not going to change your mind? How about we had this conversation for her and for him and for him so that they can see how we deal with one another, see how the book works. You know, things of that nature. That's why you keep telling me let's move on as if you are the authority to say let's move on. We move on when I decide to move on. Right, and not right. And what I'm saying by that is, I'm saying that this is a lesson to all. You know what I'm saying, including yourself. Meaning, yes, you may feel it's best served to do it your way, and I'm saying, but no, that's not the way we're going to do it. We're going to walk away,
like construct this whole.
No, I mean, when you say let's move on, that's what you said is the best thing to do.
Okay, but I'm just looking for, like you say, we're making the same argument because you're saying it's for the betterment of the people. Somebody listening may benefit. I'm saying somebody may benefit because they may have a question. They knew he was coming this week that they may have had since Thursday. They want to ask you.
They won't get it in.
Okay, I have other questions, but if we stay on this, I'm not going to be able to ask my other questions. And so I'm saying, if we're not working towards a goal or outcome, now I know you're the authority figure. You exercising your authority. That's fine.
And you know the only reason I'm bringing that up is just because really, in all actuality, there's a certain, because we don't agree, I'm feeling a certain level of disrespect. See, I'm gonna tell you, if I was sitting in your seat, no, when I sat in your seat, I shut up. I waited. When I didn't get it, I caught the teachers on the corner and asked. Because I had more faith in their understanding than in my own, which I'm not asking you to have that. But what I am saying is that, well, that's the reason why I have to keep saying to you, well, aren't I the authority? Not trying to be rude or flex my muscles, but to say, shouldn't I be able to say when we move on? Shouldn't I be able to say, since I've done this quite a few times, I have enough experience to know, like, yo, we can stay on this stuff. That's why we still on it now. Go ahead.
Like, conversation to be.
Y'all was standing right here and talking, but you know that y'all was talking about it. And what you said was, I can tell you exactly what you were saying. You were talking about the game being rigged. Because it was in my presence and I heard it, and I heard what you were saying. I also was talked to Brother Elijah because you brought this up last week when somebody brought it up last week with Zerubbabel. Right. And you couldn't deal with it at all. So it was actually told to me from my senior to make sure y'all deal with that. So I was over there anyway. Right. So it was about is what I heard. Because I'm gonna move the way I like to move. Because I asked you this question directly. But then I heard the conversation that y'all just had, right? Yeah. Right. You said when the game is rigged, okay, I'm so there I found my interest there. I wasn't going to necessarily bring this up. Well, I'm not moving on because you continue to talk. That's to be absolutely, at this point, that's to be absolutely, I'm ready to get better on now. You know what I'm saying? See, here's the thing. At the end of the day, and like, no disrespect, because actually, you probably cool, but you know stuff. You know the real.
you gotta take a little dose of humility sometimes. Sometimes you gotta be the humble one in the situation. Cause right now, I'm seeing it. You just been a little proud with me, and I ain't even trying to come that way with you. I'm just letting you know. Cause here's the thing: when there's contention, there's pride.
Well, it's just going to be falsely accused.
I didn't falsely accuse you.
You said I'm proud.
I said you're really a little. Yeah, I was like, all right, go ahead, bro.
So here's the thing, ultimately, the thing that the basis of about both y'all's point. I don't even want to get that anymore. Y'all was trying to eat lunch. My wife dragged me out, try to find out what's going on, try to intercede somewhere. So here's my point. Your point is very valid. Your point is valid, but here's the situation. We don't know that. We all know in part. And we won't really know until the Lord comes back, unless it's a definitive answer in the book. So because of that, since it's not a salvation issue, let's move on.
To say something is not a salvation issue is a very dangerous statement.
That's not.
But they all are. Everything in the book is.
Depends on whether or not I get into it.
It's not about the subject, it depends on if we get into the kingdom. You know who inherits the earth? The meek. It's about humility if you're going to get into the kingdom. That's why it's a salvation issue. Because at the end of the day, I'm chill. I don't really care what anybody think about any of the things in the book. I'm sitting here, but I'm also working like I'm at the end of the day, I know what I'm supposed to be doing. And I'm just chilling. I really am just chilling. I'm just vibing with it. And I'm also trying to tell my brother, like, bro, relax. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because somebody disagree with you, doesn't mean they come in and take your head or like, relax. We cool. We on the same side. I'm just saying, that's why I say, I'm not even trying to convince you to change your mind. I want you to listen so that you can see there's a whole other angle on there with a whole lot more than the brother who came last week. Consider. I told you off the jump, I can't change your mind. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I say, when you say it's not a salvation issue, it is though. Because, it's a salvation issue because pride and humility is about salvation. That's why I'm sitting in the room listening to pride and humility. Now, I could care less about, it's just like we're arguing about angels sleeping with people. I could care less if that's what you think. You know what I'm saying? But if you can't sit here and hold this conversation in a humble manner, that is an issue.
That's not how it starts. All so I'm saying, because that's where we are, let's just agree to disagree and move on to the next question.
It's not agree to disagree. We don't even agree to disagree. I don't agree with anybody. I'm not, can I finish, please? I'm not going to ever agree to disagree. I'm just going to be like, okay, I don't agree with you. That's right. That's all. I never say we're going to agree on anything on this. I put it out there so that he can hear another argument. Yeah. That's it. He needs to hear another argument. If he's 100% right, he needs to hear another argument because he's going to need to know how to defend his right. And if he's 100% wrong, he needs to hear another argument. That was my own purpose. He just took it wrong. He thought that I was coming at him, which he doesn't know me, so he doesn't know I wouldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know, I'm not coming at you. I'm just coming at the subject. It just became more than that because of how you felt about it, and that's cool. So anyway, at the end of the day, back to the subject. So it doesn't necessarily have to be moral preached to anybody. We don't see that there when we read that. So let's go back and read it. One more time. Then we can move on to the next one. That's how we do it. We make a final statement. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all. Whether you agree or not, it's cool. What I'm saying, we make a final statement so that it can be understood where we stand.
And can I say, please? Even that anybody in here that knows me, who say, really, you need to speak more. You need to do this. I say, I would never usurp the authority of the leader of my people. That's book. I would never, I withhold a lot of stuff to avoid situations like this. And so, like I say, I didn't bring this conversation to you. I didn't ask you a question. A question has not been asked yet tonight, even though this is question and answer. But I understand that you had a conversation with the other brother who was here last week. You had a conversation with Brother Elijah, and you had already came here with a thought of, you said, Brother Elijah told you, brother, you need to deal with that. So I understand now, and that's my last word.
And just so you know, when he tells me to deal with it, he's putting it on my plate.
Yeah, and I respect that. I respect
It is on me to judge the room. I wasn't gonna bring it up. I didn't bring it up.
I didn't bring it up to you. I was talking to some other brothers, and I respectfully said that. But
I did get y'all conversation though, right? Because it was like right here in the front, right?
yes, sir.
Okay, I'm making sure. Because you tried to make it seem like, oh, you just jumped into the back. No,
I didn't know that you came here with it on your mind.
doesn't matter. You get what I'm saying? If I brought that up to you because that's the truth of the matter. But regardless, if no one said nothing, I would have did the same thing. I do it every week. Like I sit there, we chop it up. I hear people, if they incorrect, I'd be like, yo, we gonna hit that at Bible study. That's all. So let's go back to 1 Peter chapter 3, and we're gonna pick it up at verse 15. 1 Peter chapter 3 and verse 15. And go ahead and read. But sanctify the Lord God in your heart, and be ready always to give an answer to every man that asks you the reason of the hope that is in you with meekness and fear. Keep reading. Having a good conscience that whereas they speak evil of you as of evildoers, they may be ashamed that falsely accuse you of conversation in Christ. Keep it on. For it is better if the will of God is so, that ye suffer for well doing than for evil. So, for Christ also had once suffered. So that's the subject right here. He said that it's better that you suffer for well doing than for evil doing, because Christ also suffered for sins. Go ahead. The just for the unjust, that he may bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. So he's saying that he's brought back to life by the Spirit of God. Talking about Jesus. Go ahead. There's the Holy Spirit that he had. It says, for Christ also had once suffered for sin, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. That's the same Spirit all of us going to be quickened by at the resurrection. Go ahead. By which also, so it's still talking about by which talking about by that Spirit that he brought us back to life with. Go ahead. And preached it to us, by which also talking about that Spirit, he, Christ, with that same Spirit, go ahead, in prison. The Spirit that was in prison. So he said, by that Spirit that brought Christ up from the grave, is the same Spirit that he had when he preached to the spirits in prison. Now, what I just did right there, I ain't even putting I'm not gonna say it. I ain't even doing nothing. I'm just gonna say what the word say, because at the end of the day, that's the point that the message is getting to. That the same Spirit that resurrected Christ is the same Spirit that he used to preach to the spirits in prison. Verse 20. When sometimes we're disobedient, when once the long suffering of God waited in the days of Noah, while the ark was preparing for any few, that is, 8 souls were saved by water. So he said at the end of the day, only 8 people got saved after that. So the light fully ran too, even baptism, though also one saved us. Right. And so the whole point of what happened is, he said the same way, this was the real point of it, the same way Noah and them got saved, is the same way your baptism saved you. That's really the point that he made. And furthermore, if you pay attention, when you look at what happened with Noah and them, it's like, yo, but Ham was with them, and he still ended up falling off. So just because you get saved, just like how Noah got saved, you get saved at your baptism, it doesn't guarantee your salvation. But that's really the point that he was getting at. He was saying, for Christ also has suffered one for sin, the just for the unjust, that he might bring us to God, being put to death in the flesh, but quickened by the Spirit. the light figure, because most of the time when I do a lesson and I deal with this, I skip verse 19 and 20 because it's not that necessary to get to the point, which is what I was telling Elijah when we talked about it during the week. I don't even deal with it because I'd rather sit up here and teach you and you follow me than for me to teach you and you disagree on something that has nothing to do with anything, and now you're disagreeing with everything that I'm saying. So now, if you follow what I'm doing, I'm showing you how I deal with it with tact. Because when I was on the phone with Elijah, when we had that conversation, he called me, I was on silence at first. I didn't say nothing. I wanted to see what he was going to say the scripture to me. Because I've heard it both ways. They argue both ways. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. My job is to bring you another way. That's all. Not to take away from your way, but bring you another way. So that you can think about it and say, man, 2 years from now, 5 years from now, that's how long we sit on stuff around here. You know what I'm saying? For years, I can tell you stuff I've been sitting on for 15 years that we don't teach. You know, you follow what I'm saying? So I'm not just trying to, I told you I'm real to sway your mind. Trying to get you to understand it's more to it. Because remember in that conversation, you said, how can we play the game if the game is rigged? I don't want to play. See, I'm trying to show you the game ain't rigged. I'm trying to show you the look. So it's so much stuff. Like he said, we prophesy in part, we know in part. It's so much stuff in here that might toe the line. It's plenty in here to teach. You ain't got to worry about it. That's really the whole point that I was going to get to at the end. After I show you how it is that we, as a collective church, come up with the understanding that we come up with. Don't mean you have to agree with that. So anyway, with that being said, the whole point in all that is that the spirit that was used that Jesus used to resurrect the dead is the same spirit that's being preached today. That's all. So anyway, do we have any questions for Bible study? Man, you got a question. Come on, bro. Those would be the best ones. On the high days? That's a very good question. So let's go to Leviticus chapter 23. That's how you answer this question. You go read. And the Lord spake. Hold on. Go to Deuteronomy 29 real quick. And we're gonna come back here. We're gonna answer your question, but I don't want to miss this script. Deuteronomy 29 and 29. And this is to Brian when you say it's not an issue of salvation. I would say that I've said that a lot in life, and I've learned it's always an issue of salvation. So I want you to remember that it's always, whenever we dealing with the word of God. And because now you might say, well, we arguing over jot or tittle. It's always an issue of salvation. You know what I'm saying? When you deal with the book. I'm gonna show you what the scripture says. Go ahead, Deuteronomy 29 and 29. The secret things belong to the Lord our God. So right there is where we like, man, sometimes we just ain't gonna know. Secret things belong to the Lord our God. Go ahead. But those things which are revealed belong unto us and to our children forever. And we will do all the words of this law. So what we get at from that is, for what's revealed unto us is all good toward us keeping the law. So everything we see in here, some way or another. That's why I was like, no, it is an issue. Because, see, I'm not gonna lie to myself. Proverbs say where there's contention, there's pride. So right now, there's pride. Whether I like it or not, whether you like it or not, and it doesn't mean that, look, first of all, I hope we cool, because I'm not, but it doesn't mean, because I'm just a straight shooter. It doesn't mean that I'm saying your pride up here and my pride right now. It don't matter if we both got the little left alone. You know what I'm saying? So it's always like we as teachers have to get off of that. This ain't an issue. This ain't about salvation. Just because we disagree, like no. You know what I'm saying? Just because, look, he can say what he say, and I can say what I say. And then we can be done. We can both he can still think the Houston Oilers is better than the Detroit Lions. You feel what I'm saying? And we can still be cool and go out after that. Go ahead, buddy.
Let me tell you, this brother right here, this sister right here, And this brother right here, we've had conversations in the last few weeks, and they say, brother, we feel like you are taking your talent and burying it in the ground. I say, there's a reason for that. And right now, they can see clearly why.
Why is that? I don't.
Because you said that we all have our way of seeing things, but you say the organization collectively has a way on how they're going to teach things.
Right.
I respect that.
But what do I also say? I also showed you as I was reading how I'll read. It's not that important. And I'll skip right past that. Meaning I'm not even teaching it in no way. That's exactly what I just, that's the thing. I don't have to teach it no way at all. For what?
I'm just saying I respect.
But are you following what I'm getting at?
I respect the authority. I respect the process. That's why most of the time I shut it.
Well, that's a good thing. Period for anybody.
Yeah.
But here's what I want you to understand. And when you stand up here to teach the gospel, teach what you can prove.
Oh, always.
But if you are being like, for example, we can prove Christians all day. I'm saying, but if it's something that you're seeing that's contentious, sit on the floor. Go pray about it. It don't mean you ain't got nothing else to teach. It don't mean that you're not a good teacher, none of that. It just means somewhere either I gotta figure this out or they gotta figure this out. It doesn't stop you from doing your job. So like they said that you got the gift to teach. Don't swallow, don't lose your talent because you feel like you're not gonna be able to speak, thus said the Lord. No, you are. It's just if I heard, let's see, let me tell you what happened around here. Brother Ron said with like, yeah, those was angels in Genesis chapter 6. The sons of God slept with angels. I mean the sons of God slept with the daughters of men, there was angels. So it's gonna be about 3 or 4 people that's gonna listen to his lesson. Then he probably gonna get a phone call, not from Elijah, from one of these other brothers, and we gonna get in the book. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna get it. I'm telling you, this is hack. We're gonna get in the book and see if we can't build to the same place. Then at the end of the day, if we can't build to the same place, I'm be like, well, look, bro, that's how you see it. Make sure you can prove it when next time somebody holler at you on it. But we gonna probably have to build that lesson. You know what I'm saying?
And that's all I'm saying.
How hard lesson pull? Right. Doesn't mean you're fired. Doesn't mean you don't get to go out there. But we're not going to teach angels sleeping with me. You get what I'm saying? So that lesson probably, and when I say probably, just depends on to what degree of how it even happened. Because I done heard some stuff that was wrong. It's like, yeah, that ain't a big deal. It's okay. So I'm just saying, don't let that be your reason because you feel like you're gonna be boxed in or something. Give it a shot and see how, you know what I'm saying, see where it goes. Have you had anything for since you've been teaching? And I've heard you teach for a year now. You know what I'm saying? I've actually listened to you teach. And I'm one of the people that probably would have been like, hey, yo. And I ain't necessarily just saying that when I hear him teach, that I 100% agree with what he's saying. So you got one of the ears that's listening that will make the call to say, yo, this ain't what we teach. Yeah, you ain't got no call. So don't assume you're going to get one because you don't agree with this right here. You know what I'm saying? Because it's not that, because again, the point is later on. Back to Leviticus 23. You ready to get your answer, question answer, young man? He's like, man, I forgot my question. I'm going to make sure you remember your question. Your question was, and really we should have read the Romans 9. We might go back to that. And the reason I say that, and I'm not done with you, is because I don't want to make it seem like I rushed that. I'm like, I wasn't rushing nothing off. You know what I'm saying? But let's do it one first. Leviticus 23, you ask them, what can you do on the feast days? So, can you name all the feast days? That's good. You did them all. You did them all.
It's the Passover is actually not a feast day. So let's start here. We're gonna start with the Passover. So now, when you read Leviticus 23, the Passover was already given in Exodus chapter 12, I think. So it was already a point of reference for them. They have already experienced or had the Passover. Do you know when the first Passover was? That's cool. The first Passover was when say that again? No, that might have been about the last Passover. The first Passover would have been when that death angel ran through Egypt. You know, when he killed the firstborn? You remember that? Sure. All right. I just want to make sure that we're going to read it now. All right. So look, the first Passover they already experienced. You know what I mean by that? They already did it. All right. Now, so start with verse 4. But the Passover isn't a feast day. Go ahead.
These are the feast of the Lord, even my holy convocation, when ye shall proclaim them in their season.
Go ahead.
And the 14th day of the first month at evening is the Lord's Passover.
So that would be like what we could say a point of reference. We're going to use that part right there as a reference because we did that already. We did that when we left out of Egypt. Go ahead and read it.
And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread.
So this is the actual first feast day that we encounter. It is the feast of unleavened bread.
Go ahead until the Lord, let's say, 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. And the first day you shall have a holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein.
So this is the first time we see a Sabbath day. And actually it's the second time in this particular chapter. And he said on this particular Sabbath day, we don't do any servile work. I mean, we don't go to our jobs. No. Let's go look at the first one. Let's look at verse 3. Read verse 3.
6 days shall work be done, but the Sabbath day is the Sabbath rest. And holy convocation, you shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath day of the Lord, and all will be good.
Now, if you pay attention, when you saw, so how do you keep the regular Sabbath? You watch TV? Yes, you. You know, you watch Flintstones and nothing like that? Transformers? That a man didn't. All right. What about cooking? You cook? So you see how we got these rules for the Sabbath day? Because the Lord tells us we don't buy and sell. We bake before the Sabbath. We prepare for the Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? We're not watching TV. We're not partaking in our own pleasures. All that is a way of keeping that day holy. That's the commandment. He says, 6 days, man, God created the heavens and earth. The 7 days, the Sabbath of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? We're supposed to keep that. Remember that day and to keep it holy. Okay? So everything that you did today was to keep the day holy. Now, when we get to the unleavened bread, notice he said that you are supposed to have the Sabbath, but then he said no servile work. So the difference that he's giving you right there is you're going to have to do work for the feast, but we're not going to go to our regular job. Trust me, when they come up in here and Passover come, they'll be setting up tables, they're going to be cooking food. Oh yeah, you can still cook food on the hot day. Let's look at some more. Let's turn to verse 23. Because these days are going to all be similar except for the atonement. The atonement and the weekly Sabbath is going to say the same thing when you read this. Both are going to say don't do no work. The atonement is going to say afflict your soul. That's why we fast. But now, look at this trumpet right here. So Leviticus 23 and verse 23 go ahead.
And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, and the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath.
So when he makes that statement, you should have a Sabbath, that means you should go to church. You know what I'm saying? Like, whenever you see that, that means you should go to church. And then what else?
And the memorial of blowing of the trumpet,
Yes.
and holy convocation.
Right. So you're gonna have a Sabbath, this day will be set apart, and you're gonna go to church. You're gonna have a holy convocation. Go ahead.
You shall do no servile work therein.
And now you notice in this one it says don't do any servile work. So that's the same thing as the unleavened bread. Don't do any servile work, but not the same as the atonement or the weekly Sabbath. So what we get is the weekly Sabbath and the atonement, they're good. Now, let's go over together. On these days and the weekly Sabbath, they're different. I said that wrong. But it's the weekday, the weekly Sabbath, and the feast days. are different. The trumpets, that goes in there with a feast day, whereas the atonement works with the weekly Sabbath. That's all. There you go. Now we go to Nehemiah. 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 And let's pick this up at verse 1. We're going to read the trumpets again because what I want us to see is that so we cook on the holidays. You know what I'm saying? And we do a lot of things on the holidays that we would normally do, like, man, they get here partying. Because it's telling us we can actually partake in our pleasure on the Lord. It's a feast, it's a celebration, it's a part. That's why we don't have them every week, every month. We have them seasonal at the beginning of the year and at the end of the year. And then you have one in the middle of the summer somewhere. That's how it really works. Okay? Nehemiah chapter 8, and let's look at verse 1.
And all the people gathered themselves together as one man in the street that was before the welfare. And they spake unto Ezra, the scribe, to bring the book of the law of Moses, which the Lord had commanded to Israel. And Ezra the priest brought the law before the congregation, both the men and women, and all that the word was understanding upon the first day of the 7th month.
So if we go back to Leviticus chapter 23, we don't have to do that. And we see what the first day of the 7th month is. That would have been the memorial of the Lord on the trumpet. So that's what the day is that we about to be reading right here. Memorial of the Lord on the trumpet. So now let's jump over to, we're just going to skip it. We're not going to read all of it. Let's go over verse 10.
And he said unto them, go your way, eat the fat and drink the sweet, and send portions unto them of whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy unto the Lord. Then ye sorry, for the joy of the Lord is your strength.
Yeah.
So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, Holy of peace, for the day is holy. Neither do we drink.
So it's a holy day, but we're waiting about to tell them to drink already.
And all the people went their way to eat, and to drink, and to sing worship, and to make great noise.
So they had a whole day festival, make great mirth. And that's what we be doing on the holidays. We be making great mirth. We do everything that they're doing right here on the holidays. We eat, we do great mirth, all that. It's a part. And that's what you can do on the holiday.
Because they had understood the words that were declared to them.
Right. So basically, the deal is in the weekly Sabbath, here's the weekly Sabbath and the feast day. On the weekly Sabbath, we don't do no work. I mean, we ain't gonna be cutting the grass. We ain't gonna be going to no job. We're not gonna be doing no work. Not working on the car. None of that. On the feast day, you can do your pleasure. So since you can do your pleasure, then that opens up for us to do some more things, but we're still not going to nobody's store to buy. We can cook, since we can do our pleasure, and it only comes once you get what, 5 days a year. Well, really, 5, 6, 7. You get like 7 days a year, because there's gonna be Sabbaths in there. So you get about 5 or 7 days a year to where you get to enjoy the day, but we can't even call it like a normal day though. Because we're not going to buy nothing at the store. We're not going to school. You know what I'm saying? We still go. We get to watch TV today. We get to grown folks, get to play cards. That's all we're going to say grown folks. You know what Hennessy is? Yeah, you don't know what that is. I just said, it's like, you don't need that. But they can do that too. You know what I'm saying? On the Lord's feast day. They can do that only on his feast day. Got it? So what's the difference to you now in the days? Yeah, and the only thing I may not have made clear is you can do your pleasure. We said that you can't work on either day, but on the feast days,
you can work pertaining to the feast. So I mean, you can cook, you can clean. Don't let the folks leave this church a mess when the feast come by. You know what I'm saying? You can do all of that for the high day. Copy? Yeah. So basically, we can have fun at church on a high day. So I don't know if they're gonna let you bring a video game up here or something, but they can. And my house, you know what we call that? It's a special Sabbath. That's what we've been calling it for years. It's a special Sabbath. And they know when the special Sabbath comes that they get some extra provisions. And so should you. Any other questions or comments? That's because it's getting dark out. Yeah. All right, y'all. We ain't got no more questions or comments. Hey, one more thing. Oh, Romans 9. We're gonna look at that real quick. I love Romans, definitely Romans 9. And this is called peace. That's all I can say. It's a called peace. We're gonna find it like verse 6. We're gonna run it down to like, we can run through it a little bit. And this is really about a little bit of a story. Go ahead.
Now as though the word of God had taken on effect, for they are not all Israel, which are of Israel, usually because they are the seed of Abraham, and they are all children, but in Isaac shall thy seed be called. That is, they which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed.
So what Paul is doing, and this is what a lot of people really misunderstand about the writings of Paul. He is trying to explain to white people who work in the region, who black folks act like we ain't want to have nothing to do with. He's trying to explain to them, nah, bro, y'all get salvation just like us. Just like us. Not behind us or nothing like that. He said, we get it, you get it. So this is what's going on. While meanwhile, his brothers is kicking against that. Because obviously there's some kind of law that say we don't deal with other nations. All right? So what are you read reverse?
Verse 9. For this is the word of the promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but when Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac.
So what we're doing right now is he's breaking down the promise to the Romans. He's got to go down, but this is the word of the promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah will have a son. Like this is the promise. That's verse 8. They which are the children of the flesh, these are not the children of God, but the children of the promise are counted for the seed. So when we look at it, he explained it earlier in this particular chapter. He's saying like, when did Abraham receive righteousness? When he was circumcised or uncircumcised? And the answer was uncircumcised. So what he said to the Gentiles is, just like Abraham was uncircumcised when he received the promise, it was just like you being uncircumcised. So you are no different from Abraham. So you're not coming under Israel's umbrella. You're coming under Abraham's umbrella, which is the same umbrella we supposed to be coming under anyway. All right, keep reading on.
For the children, being like your
It said, verse 9, but this is the word of the promise. At this time will I come, and Sarah shall have a son. And not only this, but Rebekah also had conceived by one, even by our father Isaac. Then he said, nah, because he's talking about this promise and the seed. So he said, for the children being not yet born, go ahead.
not done any good or evil, that the purpose of God according to election might stand, not of works, but of him that called.
So he said, at the end of the day, this is all about fulfilling God's purpose, fulfilling God what he wants. So
Then he was like, it was said unto her that elder should serve the young.
So it was told unto Rebekah that the elder was going to serve the young. This before anybody did anything. Okay.
As it is written, Jacob had I loved, but Esau had I hated. Right? What shall he say then? Is there unrighteousness with God? God forbid.
Like he said, he loved Jacob and hated Esau. Is there unrighteousness with God? And the answer is no. So he about to really give us a lesson, a dose of reality. Go ahead.
For he said to Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, And I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion.
Right. So he said, I'm the creator. Whoever I want to have mercy on, I'm gonna have mercy on. And who like us, he didn't have mercy on us. Like, I don't know, your next door neighbor in the word? Mine ain't. My next door neighbor, boo. You know what I'm saying? The Lord have mercy on me. Same block. You know what I'm saying? Same block, have mercy on me. I'm still trying to help extend that mercy next door. You dig what I'm saying? But right now, it ain't hit that house. So I'm saying, but what makes you better than them? Nothing. Just nothing. And there's nothing, you're more right than me, and there's none righteous in the same book of Romans. Chapter 3, I think you say there is none righteous, or maybe chapter 2. But go ahead, you read. But tell me what verse you at.
Verse 16. So then, if it is not of him that will,
So now, it said it's not of him that will it, meaning it's not on you, even though it's your will, but it's not. But that's what Paul is saying, that's what it sounds like. Go ahead.
you know, the will, the will, right? But if God will show mercy,
Meaning you didn't have no choice. It didn't have nothing to do with you. It was God that showed the mercy for you. Go ahead, keep reading.
for the scripture said to Pharaoh,
Yeah, this is that.
even for this same purpose have I raised you up, that I might show my power in you, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth.
So he said, what we read today about what happened down in Egypt, he was like, yo, that happened so the Lord showed his power. That's why I was explaining in the lesson, like this was happening for another reason. You know what I'm saying? So that, because to this day, we know God is the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, the God that freed the Hebrew children out of Egypt. Every year they show us on TV, it was split in the Red Sea. Go ahead, keep reading.
Therefore have he mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he will be hard.
So what he getting at is the Lord said, I'm gonna have mercy on whom I have mercy on, and I'm gonna harden the heart or the mind of whoever I choose to harden. So Pharaoh, man, he was just SOL. But here's what I learned. Just like Jews had to be Jews. But at the end of the day, it's like the Lord don't choose the righteous man to make him wicked. The Lord, he says, to whom you yield your remembrance, to whom you shall obey. Judas was a thief off the river. So so now the Lord can use a thief to be a betrayer. It wasn't like he was going to take a righteous man down there, he's going to betray Jesus. Go ahead, you read.
Now will say,
That's why we get up with Pharaoh. Pharaoh was already wicked. That's why the Lord could be like, because Satan was his father. That's like because of his pride. So since you work for Satan, then now the Lord can just be like, I'm gonna hire his heart. The Lord ain't about to do it. It was already in him. Meaning it ain't like the Lord gotta be like, hey, you holler at this angel, make his heart hard. Like no, he's just telling you I'm gonna hire his heart. But the reality is, if you read it, he hit his ego. They go to Israel. His white collar was in the ear. Everything was going on. That's the reality of it. But go ahead, what verse?
verse 19.
Yep.
Now will say doing it to me, why do he find fault?
So then we might say that how we gonna blame Pharaoh for doing what Pharaoh did then if he didn't have no choice? Go ahead.
For he has resisted his will,
Yeah.
made or made, who are thou that replies against God?
Yeah.
Shall the king form say to him that formed, why have thou made me thus? And not the power of the great, or the same one to make one vessel unto one and another unto this one.
So at the end of the day, he's like, yo, I Lord made what he want to make, how he want to make it. So if he want to make one to, Israel, while my, cousin them is Roman Catholics, you know what I mean? Like, hey, that's how he made it. But notice what he said, he's the one that's making all this. That's what he did then. So it's like, you can't tell the Lord what to make. And furthermore, it lets us know the Lord knows what he made too, though. He read the verse.
Verse 22.
Uh-huh.
But if God willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, and doing with much long suffering, the vessel of wrath fitted to destruction. And then
Hold on, he said, what is God willing to show his wrath and make his power known and do with much long suffering, the vessel of wrath. The vessels of wrath are what? Fitting of destruction. That's what he did that. So like what if he made you that way? And it just is like the devil. Like at the end of the day, we can say the devil had a choice. You know what I'm saying? Because he did. He chose to be evil. We see that. He was perfect in his ways till iniquity was found in him. A third of the angels, you can say they had a choice. But at the end of the day, man, God made them that way.
You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, that was the choice that they was gonna make. You are your choice. If God made you a certain way, like if you always lying, that's your choice. Then at the end of the day, when God made you, he just made you a liar. Sorry, you know what I mean? Like, even though you might be like, this is my choice to be a liar, but God made the end at the beginning though. So therefore, if that's what you are, then that's what you are. You know what I'm saying? And you can't, so that's what he's telling you. He like, so you got a choice. He just knows you. He knows what he created. So therefore, he knows what's gonna make you tick. Like he knew Pharaoh was gonna be like, gonna get them. He knows the dummy mission. You just seen 10 miracles come through here. Destroy this place. And you still think you want to come and fight with me? What verse we at?
Verse 23. And that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessel of mercy, which he had afore prepared into glory.
Like we used before, he said like these vessels of mercy. They've been vessels of mercy before, like even from the beginning, from the very beginning. Go ahead.
Even us, when he had called not of the Jews only, but also of the Gentiles.
And that was really what he was getting at in all of that, is that even us, not just the Jews, but the Gentiles, y'all can be vessels of honor too. That's what that Romans 9 was. Which I think we were going there talking about free will, which really, I don't know. Do you see free will in that? That's crazy though, right?
I asked you to go there, it was when you was talking about, you Satan make us sin, or is it our choice?
Yeah.
That's why I wanted to go there.
Oh yeah, we gonna go there though. Obviously, we gonna go there. But
You just broke the whole choice thing down.
look, it's still crazy to me. But you just are, the best way I look at it is you are what God made. And you have a choice, but to God, you are what you are. That's the only way to get, because this is that is the chapter about choice. You know what I'm saying? And it's like some people are like, well, do you got it? Yeah, you got it. But to God, you are what you are. So I mean, you gonna do what you, but it's just like as a parent, you know the kids. You know what I'm saying? I know when I get home, I know what Maria gonna be, I know what Sandy gonna be, I know what you know what I'm saying? I know what everybody gonna be and what they doing because they are who they are. And but you might be like, well, I chose to be in here. Right, I get it, but now it's just you. That's what you do. So I don't know. Any other questions? You got yours? You understand yours? All right. Any other questions, comments? All right, I'm gonna tell y'all like I tell everybody else. My number is listed 404-966-6378. Feel free to call me. That's for real. I'm saying people call me all the time from all over the US. I love to get in the pages of the book. That's what I like. I love doing that, and I love helping people figure it out, and I love arguing the book. You know what I'm saying? I love being challenged and challenging others in the book. You know what I'm saying? Because iron sharpens iron. And now all my conversations on the phone I have a list. Like who I'm gonna call. All right, I need somebody to argue with. Not to argue with, like I need somebody that's not gonna yes man.
That's what
You
it
should,
said.
right. So I'm just saying, you know what I'm saying? Like I just want everybody to know. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not a big deal. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I hope we all learn something about this. And with that being said, y'all, we close it out.
Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come,
Kingdom come,
thy will be done
thy will be done
in earth
in earth
as it is in heaven.
as it is in heaven.
Give us this day
Give us this day
our daily bread,
our daily bread,
and forgive us our debts,
and forgive us our debts,
as we forgive our debtors.
as we forgive our debtors.
And lead us not
Lead us not
into temptation,
into temptation,
but deliver us
but deliver us
from evil.
from evil.
Thine is the kingdom,
Thine is the kingdom,
and the power,
and the power,
and the glory.
and the glory.
Well,
Right.
praise the Lord,
Well, and good.
for he is good,
He is good.
for his mercy shall endure forever.
May the mercy shall endure forever.
Praise the Lord God of Israel,
Praise the Lord God of Israel.
for his mercy shall endure forever.
For his mercy shall endure forever.
These days we pray Jesus' name.
These days we praise Jesus' name.
The Holy One of Israel,
The Holy One of Israel.
Mighty One of Jacob,
Mighty One of Jacob.
one true God,
One true God.
there is no other.
There is no other.
Amen.
How old are you, man? Well, you play video games?
Keep my piano.
Yeah.
Sir.
Everybody call me from Philly.
Yeah. I'm from Detroit.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, and let's see. I had 3 kids in Atlanta, 2 in Detroit, 1 in Philly. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm born and raised in Detroit. That's why I'm over Michigan 1 tonight. Do I like Michigan?
I saw your YouTube and I didn't know why you had them on and you was from Philly. I was confused. Now I see the
When I was a kid, when I was a kid, I was on the University of Michigan campus because my aunties and uncles went there. Yeah, yeah. So, you know, it's like I'm connected. You know, like 12, 13. My first job was